Alright, so today we're going to do a little bit of a breakdown on this guy, and what we've done to it, the story of it. Got inspired by the Chevelle video to kind of go through what made this thing happen, what made it tick, what we've got into it. So it's just going to be a big, long, rambly video, but it should be good. Get a snapshot in time of everything that's gone on to it and where we're going next, and get to play it back. Alright, so basics to start off with. It's a 1973 Jeep CJ5. That's the intermediate year, so it's kind of between when Kaiser had it and then before it went to, or it was AMC's, but they didn't put all their spins on it. It was still pretty close to what it was previously. So it's kind of a funky year for finding parts. The story of buying it was we were out with the Bug and the Bronco up at Washington, and we met these folks on the trail, and one of the guys was riding an old Jeep. We got to talking. They ended up camping at the same spot we were camping, so we hung out with them afterwards, kind of stayed in contact. The story goes he bought 3 Jeeps as kind of a lot from a widow in the Georgetown area, I guess. So a big Jeep guy had these 3 Jeeps. This one was the project that was supposed to be the ultimate Jeep that was never done. So what I know about it and where it started, it was before now, last registered in '86, but the guy we bought it from had already got it back on the books and titled it and all that kind of stuff, so that part was nice. It's definitely a plus. The body wasn't bolted to the frame, so, or itself. Fenders, hood, the rest of it, everything was all just loose. So when we pulled it home on the trailer, we strapped everything down. There was some denting and Bondo and stuff like that on the, I don't know, right over the rear driver tire. So it wasn't perfect, but it had been used. There was a 327 under the hood that looked like it was from the Titanic. It was that rusty, crusty, and just gross. There's another possibly 350 on the cart that kind of came with this package deal, but we were told that it was rebuilt for this, but never put in. At the time, we didn't know anything about it. It was already lifted and had 33s on it. They were old and checked and just not good. It did have the chrome diff covers that it's got on it now, which we thought, well, somebody's opened it up and changed those. Maybe something's been done to the axles, but we didn't know at the time. And it was also new as well. We had no clue what we were looking at. The shift knob said it was a 4-speed, but everything was seized and just rusted and crusted, so you couldn't shift it. You couldn't shift the transfer case. It was just kind of a unknown zone over there. We didn't have any plumbing for brakes, the radiator, or no clutch linkage or anything like that. That was all gone. No electrical to speak. There was a 3 foot of like the engine wiring harness where it went to just behind the firewall. But we ended up not using that anyways. Some rust holes as well in the kind of more under the seat area. But yeah, just a lot of bolt holes that just stacked up over the years. And then a couple of the frame mounts under here, they were all gone. I mean, it was just rusted off. Spot welds were gone. Needed to be rebuilt. So it wasn't in great shape, but the price was right. And I was really over the Vanagon I had and the smog problems that I had trying to get it registered with the later model engine that I had in it. So going to something pre-75 in California was a big deal for me. Also came with some new parts, so there was a new windshield frame because he had swapped the one off of this for the one that he had rolled. There's these new seats that came in it, some valve covers, it had all the heater parts, a bunch of the sheet metal stuff for inside. So some of the pictures, it looks rough, but it's not actually, there's a lot of stuff there, I'll put it that way. So the story was we went up to go get it then, after calling this guy back and forth, and we went up and looked at it, thought it was pretty cool, but we're going to have to figure out a trailer and all that kind of stuff. We didn't have that. So we drug it home on a friend's trailer, landed here in my backyard. Actually, we pulled it through the fence with the van started stripping down parts, getting everything off of it. I knew that we need to get the body off to fix the rust underneath and the holes and all that kind of thing. And then from there, we could really diagnose the engine, look at it, access everything that we needed to access. So yeah, it was the biggest project I've ever done. Everything else was either small scale, like the Trail 90, or was running when I bought it in better shape. So this is a big deal. But I really wanted to finish someone else's unrealized father-son project with my dad. So it was pretty cool to be building something that was for, somebody else has started this vision and we got to finish it. So that was pretty cool. Now on to everything we did to it. And this is all, I got a bunch of work, but just to give you like the overview, I've got it all written down here. So it was a Chevy 350 that was on the cart. So we checked all that out. And we did we inspected it, new gaskets, head gaskets, all rubber parts, all that kind of stuff. 327 was seized and it was already bored to 60 over, so we really couldn't do anything with it. And it was just so crusty and gross. It is a 4-bolt main, so that's cool. Transmission, after doing a lot of, we soaked the transmission in diesel for like 3 weeks. And just kind of kept working it and slowly got that rust free. Wire brushes, and kind of worked it out. So that's how we've been running it, and it probably could be rebuilt because it's got a little chitter chatter in 3rd and 4th on the highway, but it's booking. So it's a T98, so that's the 6.4 first gear, 309 second, 169 third, and 101 fourth. So that was pretty cool for that grainy low. And then the transfer case was the Dana 20 that came in it. That's a 2-to-1 low range. That was also pretty seized up. I don't remember which one was worse, the transmission or the transfer case, but neither of them worked and had to be done and then redone. And then fixed up the linkage on that so it actually works and stuff like that. Axle-wise, the rear is the Dana 44. That's got a Detroit locker in it that came with it, and it did have 427 gears in it, which was pretty cool. But I'll get through some other stuff, but after we got it actually running and driving, took it out on the highway, and it was like 2,900 RPM at highway speed, 65, and that was a little bit higher wound than I was comfortable with. So that, along with finding that some of the gear teeth on, let me see, I think it was the front pinion and the rear ring were chipped. So when it was set up, I don't think it was set up right. So both of those two things together, we decided let's re-gear it. So now it's got 390s in it, which is nicer on the highway. It sits about 2,500 RPM at 65. So I feel comfortable with it. The front's the Dana 30. It's got the Torsen limited slip, which is kind of a weird helical worm gear thing. I'll put a picture up. That's kind of cool. And we said it's got 33s on it. Yeah. I think that's just all maintenance stuff. Cool. So now, all the stuff we did to it. So we talked about the engine. We redid that and checked it out. We got everything separated. It was on the side yard. Got the body off the frame. We started welding up body holes and fixing those undermounts. I'll point those out, show some pictures of all that work. There's a lot of welding. It was like days of just welding and grinding and welding and grinding. But I got a lot better from start to finish. You look at some of the welds and you can see it was the beginning of it, and then a few days in, they're not perfect, but they're getting better. Fixed those body mounts, soaked the transmission. We said that. After all of the body stuff was done, we painted it. It's just spray paint, Ace. I really liked this stripe idea. I don't know. I just went for it. Did the bed liner on the interior and the roll bar. I got a 1-inch body lift. I did a bunch of reading online, and they said for the 33s is about the biggest you want to go with the front axle we've got, and to clear them, if you've got a 2-inch, which I think is what this is, lift, then if you get that 1-inch body lift, then you're going to be good. You won't run into any problems. And so far, we haven't, so I'll take that. Got a new power brake booster, master, all new brake lines because there was nothing in there. We went with the nickel whatever, the nickel copper bendy stuff. So they're not very good, but they work. So I'll take that. They just all kind of spaghetti mess themselves, but yeah, it's fine. New springs and shoes and everything in all 4 drums. So it stops. I mean, it stops. Put a new fuel tank in the rear. That one was rusted out. The front tank was fine, so cleaned that one up. Plumbed all of that into a electronic fuel tank switcher. So I got a switch on the dash. We can go front or rear. So that's been very convenient. Alright, some technical difficulties, but we're back. So I think we were talking about painless wiring. So we got the 20 circuit hot rod general GM column kit. Way more wires than we needed. So we've got like power door lock wiring, power window wiring, power mirror wiring, but it's all fused, it's all ready to use. So if we find a need for it, we're ready to go. I wanted to have more than not enough. So that took a long time to route and figure out. I'd never wired a car from scratch before. So that was a lot, but the kit made it really easy. It was pretty good. Also got like a 6 additional relay kit, which has been really good because we've used them all now, for all the electric fans and some lighting and all kinds of things. Got new gauges in it, so it's got a GPS style, or well, original look, but like it functions over GPS, because I couldn't re-gear the speedometer cable on the transfer case to get that to work with the tires we had and everything else. So anyways, ended up with a GPS unit. That's been really great. Yeah, we got, let me see, where did I go with that? I don't know. We got oil pressure, we got water temp, we got voltmeter. Just put an AFR gauge in it so we can really tune the carburetor. So it's a lot of good information so you can tell what's going on. We did, let's see. Oh, it's got a hydraulic clutch. That took a long time to figure out. I think I went through like 4 different master cylinder, slave cylinder combinations, because nothing I did was right. It either wouldn't push far enough or it would push too far or whatever, and I was just trying to make it more complicated than it needed to be. I just bought the ones that were correct for the engine for this era of 80-something K20 truck. So those two matched up together, had to weld up a little bracket so that it all worked, and then mounted it up, and it's not pretty, but it works, so it's fine. It's kind of the motto of this. Let me see, after the Hollister fiasco, we just got a new radiator. So it's like a 3-core aluminum radiator. It's the biggest one I could find because I didn't want to deal with overheating. I deal with that a lot in the van. Got some dual fans in there, a whole shroud. That's been really good. It's all thermostatically controlled, keeps things cool when you need to. So this summer is the first summer that that was just a few months ago that I did that, maybe February. So we'll see when we start getting it on the highway in 100-degree temps, see how it goes. But so far it keeps it at like 180 all the time, so that's nice. It did come with the fender exit headers, but from there back we put a couple of Flowmaster, I think they're the Flowmaster 50s or the Delta Flow 50s. I think those are both a thing. I don't know. I went with the biggest muffler I could fit because I didn't want to be loud. And then they just turn out right in front of the rear tires. Got new tires on it. We talked about the gears. We put 390s on there. When we were in there doing all the gearing, we did all the axle bearings and the wheel bearings and the front axle seals and the rear axle seals, all the stuff, ball joints, tie rod ends, just everything we could. While it was out, we were just doing it all. The steering box was cracked, the original one on the front, I'm sure they smacked into a rock somewhere. So I upgraded to a bigger one. I don't know if the original one was a 3.5 inch, this was a 4 inch, something like that, out of a Hummer H1. So that was an upgrade. We did the caster shims for the front, so we got 7 degrees. When I drove it, I took it for the ride before we re-geared it. It had death wobble like crazy. So the caster shims really fixed that. And then we did the similar caster shims, or not caster, but we did shim the back end for the pinion angle. So from what I remember, we got 1 to 2 degrees, which is where we want to be. So our U-joints are happy. But that little drive shaft is so tiny. We'll see how long it lasts. We did new U-bolts for the axles when we put it all together. The old ones were junk. New U-joints on both drive shafts, so everything was fresh. We talked to AFR gauge, so we can tune the carburetor. That's been one of the more recent ones. But that's been actually really cool. because you can see what's going on live. You just, as you're easing into it, you're watching those numbers. Okay, you can do the math, or just consult the chart for the Edelbrock carburetor we have and go up or down, whatever you need to go. So that's been really cool. Let me see. Needed some new headlights, wipers, like the general stuff that you need to drive a car. I will say the headlights, I did the relay upgrade. I kept the original style kind of sealed beam headlights, but just wired them direct to the relay, and that's been bright enough for everything I've needed to do. I've only had to drive home from work a couple times in the dark. I don't think we've had it out on the trail when it's been dark. So for now, lighting-wise, that's enough. I could see that being something we do in the future, but we'll see. We talked earlier about it came with a new windshield frame because the one that was on here was cracked when he rolled it, the previous owner. Not this Jeep, he rolled the other Jeep, but they swapped them out. So I got new glass for this one. The bikini top, we just put together these aluminum bows in here. I'll show you what that looks like to keep the top from flapping on your head. It's pretty annoying. We put the new seats in. Welded up the bumpers front and rear. I'll kind of take you through those. I thought it was cool in the front. I got to keep the kind of bull bar off the Vanagon, so that was fun. I like that. Put the winch on there, kind of wired that isolator switch and all that kind of stuff. Rebuilt the heater box this last December before we went up to Washington because it was going to be cold. I put the blazer fan in there, so it's a little bit bigger. It's a little jank, I should say. It's 3/4 inch plywood, but it works. Spaced it out. Refreshed the Cadillac tilt steering column so that actually the tilt and everything telescoping worked, and then like the tumbler, the key thing was junk, and there's a few things like that that need to be addressed. I did end up breaking the blinker auto return on, I think, when you go right. So I got to get a new one of those and put it in there. It's just a pain in the butt to pull the steering wheel off. Actually, I should put that on the to-do list. Okay, so the rest of the to-do list, these are just future stuff that I've kind of got in my head going. We've done a lot, don't get me wrong. But I've got all the parts to weld up the rear spare tire carrier. So I got like a swing away thing we're going to do. We've got some metal and whatnot. I'd like to clean up the dash wiring. You'll see it's kind of a mess. Before I do that, I'm 3D printing off a heater box because they wanted a ridiculous amount for the heater box online. I didn't want to pay it. So I just decided to print my own. We'll see how that works or not. The big one I'd like to do is the YJ spring conversion. So that goes, these are, I don't even remember, these are 1 3/4 springs. So they're fairly thin, narrow, I should say, and thick. And the YJ springs are 2 or 2.5, maybe just 2. But so they're wider and then thinner. So they offer a nicer ride on the road, and they flex a lot more going down the trails and rocks and stuff like that. So that's probably the next big thing. I'm thinking maybe this winter. We'll see how that goes. You gotta weld on new hangers for the leaf springs, for the shackles and stuff like that. So it's a little bit intensive on this. There is a kit you can get, but doing the math, I think we can do it ourselves and save some money and get some more practice welding. So that's good. Probably going to need the CV style rear drive shaft when this thing breaks because it's pretty aggressive, the angle. But that's okay. But yeah, that's been like I don't know, at least I didn't think about this ahead of time, but let me see. We bought it in like October, I think, of 23. So it's coming up. It's now what? Like almost July of 26, so coming up on 3 years. So yeah, there's always little things to do, but for the most part, she's been really solid. After getting the gearing sorted out and the shims for the caster sorted out so you can actually drive this thing, and then tuning the carburetor the past couple weeks has been big. Yeah, it's been great. So I'm very excited to get it back out on the trail. And yeah, you get a sneak peek of the blue Jeep that's behind us. So Ryan's going to be getting out here. We got a few other leads for some other things coming up, so I'm excited about it. But thanks for sitting, thanks for chatting, giving you the updates on what's going on, and it'll be fine. Good enough is good enough. Lug-Nutz. All right, see you later.